Welcome to the Tech Clinic for today, being the 3rd of February 2013. And we've got all the questions lined up. Well, we've got to welcome our guest host presenter, Ghufran Shah. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, Alexander, Yasar, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
You have to lean forward once again.
Yes, lean forward once you get the microphone fixed.
We did ask for a specialist last week.
Never mind.
Oh, well.
How are you doing, Yasar, anyway?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Yes, I'm great. Great to see you're doing well as well. I guess.
You got telepathic powers, but alhamdulillah, yes, I'm well. And got some very nice questions today, as always.
Yeah, we've got some really good questions. Don't want to be going over and over again about our greetings, I guess. Let's get on with the questions. We've got quite a few actually today, so it's going to be good fun.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
And just thanks to all the listeners who've been liking the Facebook page. There's a Tech Clinic Facebook page now, and Yasar is promoting that. I'm promoting as well. So either is we get any questions we get on there, we'll feed through into the program as well.
Yeah, I got you as an admin on there. So we've also got the YouTube channel as well. So get subscribing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to let you champion the Twitter page later on. Let's start off with our first question. Don't go to sleep. Not yet. We've got our first question, and it's on BlackBerry. How would you know it? I've heard BlackBerry have released a new phone. Could you tell me more about it?
Yes, indeed. The BlackBerry is back. BlackBerry have had a hard time the past few years. They started off with a wonderful, revolutionary BlackBerry Messenger, and the handsets were taking the industry by storm. Mm-hmm. Then I think they fell asleep, and they did lose a plot when Apple and Android took the smartphone touchscreens by storm. But BlackBerry have come back with the introduction of the BlackBerry 10 series based on the new operating system, and they have the Z10
Z10
or the BB10 or the Z10. So BlackBerry Z10 rather is very much a brand new product for BlackBerry. They are competing against the Apples and the Androids, but for a first stab, it's quite an impressive stab. Not as good as the Apple or Android yet, but remember, it's just the first stab at that particular space. Lots of new features. It's a 4.2-inch touchscreen. It's very thin, 0.35 inches thin. Very high resolution. Does 720p HD recording. Excellent. 16 gigabytes of internal storage. 2 cameras. The front facing is 8 megapixel and the other is rear facing. So good cameras there. On-screen keyboard. 10 hours of standby battery. A micro SD storage, and everything is gesture driven. So there's no hard buttons on the screen like in the Apple. So to actually turn the phone to from sleep to on, you swipe it, and there's not really a home screen. Everything's swipe driven.
Right.
BlackBerry are going to struggle initially because there's not that many apps. Okay, compared to Apple's 700,000 apps, they're a bit behind the curve there. But those people who are firm followers of BlackBerry and had their Messenger for many years, it's going to be a refreshing breath of air for them. So yeah, watch out for this. It is a very interesting move they're making, and this really has to succeed for them. Some people have said it's either make or break for the company. Used to be called RIM, Research in Motion, then it had some hard times, and now it's BlackBerry Limited. So yeah, if you're a corporate user who's been using BlackBerry handsets for a while, you're going to love this phone. So I'm sure they're going to do great. It's a great start. If you compare Apple's first attempt at a smartphone, I think as a first attempt, this is a lot better than when the Apple was released.
Excellent. Sounds good news for BlackBerry then. Moving on to our second question. My iPhone is showing an update available to iOS 6.1. What does that update include? Yes,
quite a few enhancements, bug fixes there, lots of security features. The most notable changes are ones where they've included support for more carriers. So that probably won't affect most people here, but a lot of the 4G carriers, there's more support now for the 4G carriers. If people use the actual passport feature, the passport feature, there's more applications there. There's a new button to have control over your advertising. If you're into your iTunes, and there's an iTunes match, so you can download individual songs from your iCloud. There's a new music player on the lock screen, but mainly lots of performance enhancements. There were problems with Wi-Fi dropping. That's been fixed. So it is a worthwhile upgrade to 6.1.
Super. Next question we got. Is it possible to replace a cracked glass screen on a Samsung Galaxy S2? On eBay it costs £3.60. That sounds like a crazy price, but someone said it's a myth and it cannot be replaced. So do you have to buy and replace a whole screen, which costs loads more?
Okay, the listener has to be careful here. It depends on the extent of the damage. If it's just a cosmetic damage, you can replace just the actual glass or plastic screen, which
Okay.
is just like a lens cover, and that's about £3 to £4. That's just the lens cover.
Oh, okay.
For some more serious damage, if you turn your phone on and you can't actually do anything, then chances are you've damaged the full front panel with the digitizer as well.
Wow.
So that needs you can replace the front screen and the digitizer. Happened to my iPhone. I dropped it on a kitchen tile. It smashed the front screen and it smashed the
Ouch.
actual touchpad as well. I bought a kit for the iPhone for about £40 with a screwdriver and instructions, and you literally have to disassemble the phone. Similarly with the S2, you can do it, but you're going to have to end up disassembling the front cover, going right down to the PCB, not for the nervous. And those kits are about £80,
Yikes.
£80 to £90.
Yeah.
And it is a Samsung S2, so maybe false economy to get one of these kits, whereas you can get a new handset or even a second-hand handset for less than that. Okay, so it's not a myth. It can be replaced, and there are instructions on the internet. So if the listener does want to have a go at replacing it, xda-developers.com has lots of photo tutorials. But if you're not a handyman and you're not good with the tiny screwdrivers,
Best to leave it alone.
don't go there.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to our next question. I want to buy a new handset, but I need one with the most powerful camera on the market. What would you recommend?
Okay, I was looking at this. There is if you're going purely on megapixels, then the Nokia have an 808 PureView, which has got, guess how many megapixels?
Oh, I actually think I know this one. 40?
41. It's got
41. Ooh,
41 megapixels and effective of 38 megapixels.
Right.
So you can take some pretty serious screens. Take some pretty serious pictures with that type of megapixel, and they'll be like pretty large pictures.
Right.
It's not always about the megapixel, though. It always depends on the actual lens as well. So what I suggest you do is go into a phone shop and try the cameras out. If you're looking for a really professional camera, the cameras on the phones are nowhere near SLR type of cameras. So maybe you want to look at an SLR type of camera as an alternative to getting it on the phone. And also, what type of photos are you taking? If you're taking photos in the dark, the mobile phone handsets are going to be appalling. If you're mainly taking shots in the daylight of scenery, then the most cameras on the smartphones now are pretty good on the LG handsets, on the Samsungs, even the iPhone is pretty good with good daylight. Good lighting is always key.
And there's not much difference in them, is there? When the
sure.
And daylight is quite, pretty much the same. Then the picture quality as well.
Yeah, they're pretty much the similar. 8 megapixel, 16 megapixel.
Yeah.
If you're going for it on megapixel alone, then the Nokia 808 is still quite impressive.
Yeah.
And it can also take a full 1080p video with no loss of clarity. So there you go.
I guess the only downside to that is it's not running on the famous Android, iOS, or Windows, as believe it or not. It's not running on any of them. It's running on old school Nokia software, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. And it took 5 years in the making as well, so they've put lots of technology and investment behind that camera. Focuses around the camera.
So if you want it just for camera, just go for that one. Let's move on towards a next question, and question number 5. I need to create an app for my business, but first of all, are there any companies that create apps for businesses? And second, if I was to create an app for my business myself, how would I go about doing it?
Okay, so first half of the question, yes, there are many companies out there who can develop apps for smartphones and your various mobile devices. It's best to search, if you start off with normally these web design agencies who are developing websites will have an offering where they will develop your website or even your app on a mobile device.
Okay.
But when you're looking at developing your own app, you can do it yourself, but take a few steps back because you've got to look at your target audience. What are you trying to achieve with your app? Which platform are you trying to do it on? If you want an app that's going to be platform independent, you may decide to go down the HTML5 website development approach. If you want a specific app, then you must do your research. Maybe there's an app already out there. If it's specifically for your business, and if you're in a niche, then maybe there's no app there, and that's probably why you want to create an app. what's your objective of that application? Is it going to be something that you're going to release that's going to be free, or are you going to be charging people for it? So what's your long-term goal? Is it going to be a revenue stream for your business, or is it like a marketing tool? Most things, you're going to be building a product, so try and keep it simple. Once you've built your app, how are you going to advertise it? Get feedback from your audience. Maybe you're going to have the first version that's going to be free. So you can't just say, I'm going to make an app on a Monday morning. I suppose you can, but then there's a longer...
It's a longer process.
Got to plan, have a strategy. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail. The biggest thing is going to be, what's your platform? Because all these smartphones have their own unique features, so you'll probably have to develop a specific version of the app for each platform as well.
And the second part of the question?
That was the second part.
Was it creating an app?
You can, and in fact,
how do you go about doing it?
Once you've done your design, so you could either outsource this to an agency, a software development house, or you could maybe even teach yourself. Now you can register to be an application developer. That's free. So you can register with Apple or BlackBerry or iPhone. Go to their websites. For Apple, you can buy their software development kit. It's under $100, and there are lots of tutorials out there and training courses. So if you're technical and done some development, then you might enjoy developing your own app. Lots of guides and tutorials there. So you've got two choices: outsource it, or if you've got time on your hands, you might want to try and do it yourself.
Super duper. Right, moving on towards the next question. I've been told I can update my iPhone without having to connect it to my PC directly from the phone. What would you say is the best way to update the iPhone?
Okay, so you can indeed update it without being physically plugged in or hardwired into your PC via iTunes.
Okay.
You can go to settings. As long as you've got an iPhone with an iOS 5 or above, this feature was introduced there. You go into settings, scroll down to general, and then tap on general, and then you'll see a software update menu, and you can press that and it will start downloading the software. Be careful though, if you're going to do this on a 3G link, you might exceed your data allowance. Some of the major releases of iOS, like 6.1, is a few hundred megabytes. You might exceed your allowance, so try it on your Wi-Fi link first. If you started doing that and it fails, then always plug into your PC with the cable and go into iTunes and try it that way first. Okay.
Would you say it's better to do it through iTunes than doing it on the phone? As some people, when downloading it, they have problems like it says connect to iTunes and etc. etc. The download could go corrupt when downloading it on the handset.
I don't think it will go corrupt. If there's been a failure in the download, then it won't install.
Okay.
The software will only start installing once it's completely downloaded. Okay, so you might find if you're downloading halfway through and you get a call or your battery dies, then you're going to have to start all over again. So that may cause some kind of corruption, or your phone might get confused, because these are just devices at the end of the day. Just ones and zeros in a box, that's all they are. So you might want to try it with a cable first.
Sure. Okay, moving on towards the next question that we have. I love taking photographs and do so as a hobby. I need some advice on how I can turn that into a business. Could you help me, please?
Okay, yeah, this is an interesting question. It's very, very close to my heart. I've got a passion for photography as well. I used to take my SLR camera everywhere. Ended up amassing a good 20,000, 30,000 photos. Nice. And I went through this thought process: how do I start making some money out of this? For me, the challenge was time. But I think if you ask this question to 5 different people, you'll get 5 different answers. Some of the key things you've got to think about is you've got to take lots of pictures, lots of practice. So take pictures anywhere, different angles, different lighting. Have a massive portfolio of pictures, and then put them somewhere on the web. Have a website at least. Put them on Facebook, put them on Instagram. Start tweeting your photos. So get your photos out to as many people as you can. And if you have attend events, take photos of events. If you've got friends who are getting married, take photos of that wedding. So you might find a particular niche that you're really good at. You might be into event photography or portrait photography. You might like taking photos of scenery. So once you've amassed a collection, then hopefully you can get the word out, and you'll find that if people know you're a photographer, people are always looking for good photographers. So to advertise your skill that way, certainly on the social networking scene. But have a website as well. So it's a case of making people know that you can take photos. But it's practice, practice, practice.
A lot of practice. All right, moving on to the next question. What is your opinion on Star Trek technology becoming reality?
Okay, again, a topic close to my heart. I've always been a Star Trek fan,
Okay.
as you know, and you're smiling. You know I'm a bit of a Trekkie.
I know you are.
Okay, so if we go back to Captain James T. Kirk, when they had these
Ooh.
these flip communicator devices, well, we all know what they are. They're mobile phones,
Mhm.
and it's quite funny when they used to lose signal from the Starship. It happens to us as well when we're losing signal when we're in a poor reception area. So a lot of these things are here today. So that communicator device is here. If you remember in the old days, they had these tablet screens. Well, we've all got tablets nowadays
now, yeah.
that people are touching, and there was these cartridges they used to plug into the console. Well, we've had those as well, the actual discs and floppy disks, those sort of things.
Yeah.
They used to have wrist phones. Well, you can get an iPod Nano and stick it on your wrist, and you've got a wristwatch as well as a wrist phone. Jean-Luc Picard's aquarium was called Livingston, if people remember that, and that was his tropical fish in his ready room. You can get a tropical fish tank and make it a feature of your room if you want to.
Yeah, yep.
So some things we have, some things which I don't think we'll ever have, the transporter, transporting beings from one place to another. It's possible, because as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the amazing night journey, the horizontal and the vertical. That was something that we can't even comprehend. So that technology is not beyond the Prophet. So I don't think we'll be able to do that in our lives. Touchscreens everywhere. So that you'll see the Enterprise always had touchscreens everywhere. And now we mentioned a few weeks ago, you can get this USB device that portrays a field around it, and you can be touching the air around your device, and you're actually interacting with your device. So
Exactly.
some things are there today, some things that will never be there. You could just see there was these light tractor beams where you'd have the Starship Enterprise transporting or moving a planet or another ship,
Yep.
just sliding it along. Well, you can do that today. Scientists have actually produced that effect by transporting molecules using laser technology, but nowhere near actually moving buildings or moving books. But you can do it at the molecular level.
Wow.
So it's quite interesting. Bit of jest there, but yeah. Tokchi bokka plach. That's my Klingon.
Translate that for everyone else.
No, yeah, I think it's watershed time, isn't it?
Okay.
Moving on swiftly to the next question.
Yes. Can I use any Bluetooth headset with my PS3, or do I have to get a PlayStation official product?
Okay, you don't have to get a PlayStation official product, simply because they are quite expensive, the official products. You're paying a lot for the brand. I've got many Bluetooth headsets that I've used with my mobile phones, and they work fine when you pair them with the actual PlayStation.
Okay.
Okay, it could be a normal Bluetooth headset. It could be a pair of Bluetooth headphones as well. They seem to work as well.
Okay. And the final question of the day we've got here, I've got another question as well, directly more to myself, towards myself. The final question I've got on my sheet: is there a difference between a buffered and unbuffered memory?
Yes, there is. There's a difference between unbuffered and buffered RAM. So you'll find buffered RAM has extra technology inside there, which basically is a register that sits between the memory and the CPU. So buffered RAM is really used in high-end servers with more load on the actual machine, and you'll find buffered RAM is more expensive as well. And for that reason, because it's buffering the speed of data, is a bit slower. So you'll find buffered RAM is used by lots of servers, high-end computers, which most of us never get to see. The type of RAM you'll see in your laptops and desktops for the consumer is called unbuffered RAM, which is generally faster, and that puts lots of load on the motherboard as well, on the memory controller. So you'll find there's a maximum of 4 slots you get in most computers that can handle unbuffered RAM.
Super duper.
Super duper.
Indeed. Right. That's all the questions I have on my sheet. I had one more that was passed on to me from a very young listener of ours, and he asked me directly, what are your favourite set of Android apps? I'll put forward a question to yourself as well, Brother Ghufran, in just a moment, in referring to Apple iOS apps, but I'll answer this one. Well, starting off with camera zoom effect, camera app, basically taking pictures and different sort of added effects to that. Dolphin browser, just like Chrome browser, it's a really, really good one on the Android handsets. You also got Say No to 0870, call interceptor, a great one for when you're calling 0870, 0800 numbers on your handset, 0844 numbers as well. It lets you know there's an alternative number available and you can use that instead, so it saves you a bit of money. Power Amp, a great little music app. Met Office app, obviously for the weather. Looking ahead, no, not always correct, and never can it be. And you also got the MX Player for video playback. Smarter Alarm, it's a great little alarm feature that the Android apps have brought forward. It's the one which actually brings forward to you the news updates and also says hello to you in the morning as well, which is great. And I've also got a personal greeting there. I've got Assalamu alaikum before it.
Oh, lovely.
So it says Assalamu alaikum Yasar Tanveer. So that's pretty nice in the morning. It's my phone talking to me, going crazy here. And finally, business calendar. I've got all my Google calendars, and there's loads of them, all in there. So all the match events, football related, plus my work calendar, everything, all in one place because of business calendar. It's a great little thing. I wanted to just get that out there. I'm finishing with Brother Ghufran Shah, with his favourite set of apps. I know I've put you on the spot, but if you can...
Yeah, I think it's funny you said have you installed a separate calendar app?
Yeah, a separate one. I don't use the stock one. It's a totally separate one, and it's a great little app.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stock iPhone stuff seems pretty sufficient. So the calendar, I use the stock one that seems pretty
Okay.
But one app I find really useful is one called XE. It's an XE. It's a currency converter. So you always need to convert. I always need to convert between different currencies. Find that really useful. There's another app called for my TV. I've got a Samsung app which allows me to use my phone as a remote control. Similarly for my amp, it's quite useful. Other useful apps, something called TripIt. I find that really useful, especially when you're traveling. You want to have all your boarding passes and itinerary in a single location. So there's an app called TripIt where once you've booked a flight or a train ticket or a hotel, you can email the itinerary to your email address, something at tripit.com, and then that will store all that trip information in there, and it keeps it forever. So if you want to look back at where you went, you can just go into there and you'll see a nice pretty map of all the places that you've been to. Lots of travel apps I use on a regular basis. Auto Trader app is nice. I like that. Very quick way of doing searches for automobiles, getting prices and so on. Very useful Torch app, and a ruler app.
Handy, yeah.
That gets handy. What else do I have? I'm just looking at my phone now. I've got a London Tube map. That's a good one. If those of you who've got an Xbox console, there's something called Smart Glass.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic app. You have it on the iPad as well. You can control your Xbox with your iPad or your touchscreen device as a remote control. Or you can be downloading or playing media on your iPad, and it'll be rendered on your TV. That's really useful. What else do we have? Last one. Something called Evernote for keeping notes and post-its. So you can download Evernote, which is free, and you get an Evernote account. And here on every device, you can have your notes appear. So if you're a thinker or a poet, and you've always got something that's going on in your head, you might want to document it, so you can write it down and
you make a note of it.
make a note of it on your phone. And when you get to your home computer, it'll be there automatically. When you get to work, it'll be there automatically.
Very nice. Very nice.
So, lots of that's the thing with Apple. There's like 400,000 or 700,000 apps. I mean, there's so much choice, so much to choose from.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Well, of course, PayPal app is really good as well. That's a good one. Lots of people use PayPal nowadays to make payments, and there's lots of banking apps which come with all the phones, I suppose. And everyone's got the usual Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, or TweetDeck. If you've got multiple Twitter accounts, TweetDeck is useful, where you single app can control all your tweet feeds.
Very nice.
And my favourite, I think,
the
one I'm using all the time, so I've got WhatsApp. I think most people know
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp is quite a good way of keeping in touch with groups, having group discussions, sharing media and images and so on.
It's how we mainly communicate as well.
And that's cross-platform, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are pretty much cross-platform apps.
Excellent. I'm going to leave it at that now, inshallah.
Okay.
We haven't got anything else to say.
That's all for today.
That's it. That is all for today.
We're still waiting for some telephone questions.
Telephone
I suppose it's nice we're not having telephone questions because it puts us on the spot.
it does really put us
With
on
this,
the
we
spot.
can do some preparation at least.
Well, yeah,
Do
some
30 minutes preparation, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah. But the Ghufran wants the time cutting down, but I've said to him that at the moment we're still very new and we need you guys more than you guys
We're
need
taking
us.
questions right until 8 up until 8:29 on a
Pretty
Sunday
much.
evening.
Pretty much, yeah. It's last minute planning, but it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm still coming back every week.
Yeah, you're definitely enjoying it then. So
Be
then,
safe and assalamu alaikum.
wa alaikum assalam.